What is going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. Today I've got another Entitled Parents video for you, so sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. Single mum at Costco. So, as you all know, people are freaking out about the coronavirus, so they're doing everything they can to get their hands on supplies to last the quarantine. My family decided that we were going to try to go to Costco today to get preparations for a couple of weeks of dinners and some other home essentials, like most others are doing. As we're walking around and picking up the supplies we need, I started to notice that the store was basically in chaos. People were hoarding items such as toilet paper, although Costco has limited the amount of rolls a single person can buy at a time. There were a few people bickering back and forth about items, etc. It was kind of funny to see people acting so immature in a time to panic. My family and I took our groceries to the checkout line, as you do, and stood behind some woman and her 2 children. My dad and I started chuckling together about how much of a madhouse the grocery store was, when the woman standing in front of us whipped around and started shouting at us to keep your germs to yourself. She had a stick up her butt about us being too close to her and her 2 children and how we were spreading our germs. It was a bit strange but understandable, I suppose. When the woman in front of us finally got to the checkout counter, she started unpacking a good 10 to 15 packs of toilet paper, as well as her other food groceries to be scanned. As I mentioned earlier, Costco had put a limit of 1 pack of toilet paper per person, which meant that this woman would have to put all but 1 pack back where she found them. The cashier mentions this fact to the woman and she replies by saying, "Well, I'm a single mum and I need these toilet paper rolls for my family, so we don't have to come back out and get sick once the virus spreads more." To which the cashier replied, "I'm sorry mum, but being a single mum doesn't have any impact on the limits, so I'm going to have to ask you to please put the excess toilet paper packs back." This woman was not having it. She had the audacity to start yelling at the cashier about how he should be respecting me because I work my butt off to maintain the peace of my family, because my lying, cheating husband took all of my money when we divorced. While this is all going on, the line was getting very long and people were getting impatient. So the cashier calmly tells her to either pay and take her groceries, not including the toilet paper, or to get out of line. The woman reluctantly agrees and proceeds to hand the cashier her card. Before the cashier could complete the transaction, the woman asked the cashier if she can have a discount because she's a single mum and can't afford everything she put in her card. Now, I have been standing in line for a good 20 minutes now, and this really got on my nerves. I don't understand why people are so uncooperative, especially about things like this. Yeah, I mean, you do make a good point, OP, but also I don't really understand, if she couldn't afford what was there, how was she expecting to get 10 more packs of toilet paper? What? I mean, she's acting like this and she's wondering why her husband left her. It's kind of obvious to me. It should be obvious to you, lady. To be fair, I reckon what you should have done to avoid this entire situation is just cough straight at her, see what she would have done. Little bit cruel, but kind of funny at the same time. Anyway, that is our one corona story done for today, I hope. Let's jump into another one. Oh wait, entitled mum steals paracetamol out of my trolley. Ah, snap, here we go again. So, in the midst of a global pandemic, I managed to break my foot. Oh Jesus, what a combination. So they put me in one of those walker boots so I'm not completely one-legged. Me and my partner decided to get some bits from the shop tonight. We certainly weren't panic buying, but did buy some stuff extra so we could double up when we're cooking to freeze. I was leaning on the trolley a lot for support, and my partner was walking back and forth to certain aisles and leaving me to get some bits without making me walk too far. It's quite obvious that I'm wearing the boot as it's the middle of winter and I'm wearing a dress because I have no trousers that I can comfortably wear with the boot on. I assume this person must be from the southern hemisphere. Obviously, with a broken foot, I'm in a slight bit of pain, and although I've been looking for painkillers, most seem to be sold out. But I went for a hunt and managed to find 2 packs left in the shop. I didn't notice the entitled mum behind me at first, but I carried on limping away when I heard someone clearing their throat a bit too obnoxiously. I turned around and smiled at her. She looked very typically Karen, and she had entitled kids with her around 6 or 7 and one about 10 or 11 years old. And she was properly giving me the stink eye. Excuse me, can I have that paracetamol? Oh, I mean, sure, you can have this one. I handed her 1 pack. And? I'm sorry? I can see you have another packet. I'm bewildered at this point. Yes? Well, you're not going to give it to me? At this point, I gestured down to my leg. I'm really sorry. I'm in quite a bit of pain with my leg at the moment, and I need the painkillers. Well, that's not my problem. You should have been more careful. I have 2 kids. I need to make sure they're okay if they get this virus. I mean, I'm sure 1 pack will do for now if they're okay. I'm sorry, but I'm going to buy these. Oh, I can't believe you won't even help out my kids. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go. I limped along down the aisle when the older of the entitled kids ran in front of my trolley, stopping me dead. And the younger one went into my trolley and grabbed my packet of paracetamol. Then they both ran off back to the mum. I turned around and she just smirked at me and walked off. My partner came back at this point and I told him what happened. He was just as annoyed as me, but there wasn't much we could do about it at that time. As we went to the checkout, I noticed the entitled mum unpacking her shopping. She didn't notice me and I saw the paracetamol just on the checkout line. So I reached across and grabbed both, hid behind my partner and limped off to another line. I was watching her to see her reaction, and as she got to where the paracetamol should be, she looked down, looked on the line, and then looked up, utterly confused. That's when she spotted me. I held up the packets and smirked back. We paid and walked out, so didn't see the aftermath, but it did give me a lot of satisfaction seeing the utter grimace across her face. Awesome. You know what, guys? I've said it before and I'll say it again. The best entitled parent stories, in my opinion, by a mile, are the ones where the entitled parent gets justice given to them in the end. Like, this ending is perfect, right? She took them off you, well, her kids took them off you, and then just at the very end, you take them from her when she's paying. Perfect. It's also great that you just got to see her reaction just before you left as well. She couldn't get to you in time, but she knew that you had done it. Perfect, perfect. Alright, I was joking before, but that seriously is the last virus story of this video. I've got something a little bit more normal for you coming up right now. Entitled Family verbally abused my 9-year-old daughter, calling her fat and worthless. Jesus, I lose it. What a title, man. Okay, so for some background, I'm a father of a 9-year-old girl who's my whole world. Her mother and I split up 3 months after her birth when I found out she had been cheating. Naturally, I got a DNA test and thankfully she was mine. Problem is, her mother doesn't care about her health. She feeds her whatever she wants and even gives her coffee and donuts for breakfast sometimes. What's wrong with that? Sounds lovely. Anyway, it's a mess. I've called CPA and the police in the past for wellness checks, but it's gotten me nowhere. So, since she was about 4, she's had a weight issue. Now, on to today's story that happened about an hour ago. So my daughter is aware she's overweight. She's teased constantly at school, so I've made it a habit to visit her at least 3 times a week each week for lunch, as she always asks me to come so she can eat lunch in peace from the bullies. This weekend was her weekend with me and she's taken a liking to basketball, which I think is great, and she asked me this morning to go to the park down the road in our community to shoot some baskets with her. Of course, I say yes and we go. When we get there, I park and immediately notice 2 kids, entitled kid 1 and 2, they're about 13 or 14 years old, sitting at one of those park tables, cussing and throwing a basketball back and forth at each other. I pay them no mind and we walk up to the court that isn't being used. I also notice 2 adults who end up being our entitled parents, about mid-30s, sitting on a park bench about 30 feet away, smoking and messing around on their phones. We start shooting and she's having fun when I hear it. Get the heck off the court, you fat idiot! We were about to use it and you're too fat to play anyways. Look, you can't even make a shot. My daughter is 9 and still learning, mind you. Yeah, maybe go home and use a treadmill? They both start laughing. Now, they said this with me right in front of them, and I'm annoyed. I'm a big guy, about 6'1", 190 pounds, and unlike others, I don't like confrontation. But I'm not scared to engage if necessary. Okay, first off, both of you kids, watch your dang mouths and do not insult my daughter again. You really think that's okay? Insulting someone on something so sensitive and you think it's a laughing matter? Your parents are doing something wrong. That's when the parents, who were still at the bench, hear me and join in on the fun, for them at least. Who the heck do you think you are? Why are you yelling at my sweet boys? Yeah, you better watch what you say, dude. Your precious boys are standing here insulting my daughter and calling her fat. You two really think that's okay? To insult a child younger than them over something she's already bullied about at school? We're here trying to get some exercise in and play some basketball and just have fun. I don't need to deal with you or your little punk boys insulting her. The entitled mum looks at me without blinking, like what I just said was the specials at a restaurant. Yeah, that's probably because she's really used to it. So, what's wrong with what they said? Look at her, she's fat, isn't she? They're being honest, she shouldn't be here. What the frick? Yeah, they're doing her a favor. She's just embarrassing herself. I mean, look at her. Then they all start laughing. Literally 2 teens and 2 adults laughing at my little girl. While she's standing behind me and trying so hard not to cry, I lost my head. Alright, listen you two. I point at the parents. You are freaking trash. So they're being honest and that's okay? Alright, fine. Here's some honesty. Your sons are punk bullies and I promise you eventually another kid will stand up for themselves and knock their teeth out. I, as a normal adult, freaking despise bullying. You both are trash parents thinking what your kids are doing is acceptable. Hey, watch what you say to my wife and sons. Your daughter is fat. Deal with it. Then my daughter says, yeah, and you're a mean man and you shouldn't say these things to people. She's crying and I'm annoyed and even more upset at this. Watch what I say or what, bud? What are you gonna do? You and your perfect little family seem to think honesty is alright, no matter what form. So I'm telling you, you're all just bullies. And unlike my daughter, I'm an adult and I won't put up with any more of your BS. Especially if any of you say another word to my daughter, I swear you'll regret it. I was maybe 3 inches from the father's face when I said this. Looking back, maybe I shouldn't have said you'll regret it, but I was annoyed and in protection mode. Yeah, absolutely fair enough. The entitled dad just stares at me without moving for about 10 seconds, with me not moving either. We're not leaving. My daughter just wanted a fun day at the park and I won't tolerate another negative word said against her. Test me if you want. The entitled dad and entitled mum look at each other before finally the entitled mum scoffs. Kids, let's go. We're going home. They begin walking away down the street towards their house. I'm watching them most of the way because I had a feeling they'd say something else. And I was right, sadly. When they're about 100 or so feet down the street, the dad yells, "Have fun with your fat daughter, punk!" And they hurry their walk. I start running after them. I was done and not putting up with this anymore when I hear my daughter say in a calm voice, "Daddy, just let them leave. Now we can play alone." She's smiling now and I can tell she's right. She just wants to have this all be over with. Alright, sweetie, wanna play horse? Yeah, you go first. And thanks for sticking up for me, Daddy. I'm so sick of bullies. Always, hun, and I know. Don't worry, let's just have some fun. I'll always be there to help you when I can. I give her a hug. We had a good time for the next hour shooting hoops and then went home. Thanks for reading, guys, and don't put up with bullying. Oh, this story makes me happy and sad at the same time, you know. The way you guys dealt with them, especially you confronting them and saying, you know, you can't bully, and then your daughter saying, you know what, it's okay, let's just play, is amazing. But then the fact that there are people like this that even exist in the world is so terribly sad, isn't it? Like, I kind of feel for the entitled kids. They've been brought up by their entitled parents and not been told that bullying is wrong. What chance do they have? Anyway, OP, you're a good man with a good heart. Keep showing your daughter the right way to go about living your life and how to treat other people. Fair play to you, you're doing the right thing. Anyway, guys, that is going to be the end of this episode. I really hope you have enjoyed it. And you know, I hope you're all doing well in life. There's a lot of bad stuff going around. I hope you're just doing okay. If you want some more light relief, I've got a playlist and another video on screen right now. If you want to bulk watch, go ahead. The playlist is there. It will help my watch time massively, so thank you. If not, make sure you are subscribed and I will see you guys all tomorrow for a brand new episode on the channel.